Welcome, bodies and ghouls, to episode 86 of Trivial Debates. As the shadows lengthen and the moon rises high, our brave contestants gather for a bone-chilling... Somebody turn the heat up in here. Battle of wits. On this Halloween special, who will survive the night and claim the haunted crown of victory? Only time will tell.
I remember this game Nightmare.
I am the gatekeeper. No, that was my last job. Meet tonight's ghoulish debaters. Former champion Chelsea Harris from Tales from the Stitch. The crafty Chelsea is known for her twisted tales and creepy creations. With her sharp mind and eerie charm, will she weave her way to victory? Or will her opponents unravel her sinister plans? And we also have Colin Canning. Do they can you before or after the show?
What?
Rising from the depths of the Nova Scotian underworld, Colin's love for the eerie and uncanny is unmatched. Armed with spine-chilling insights, he's ready to haunt the debate stage, but will his arguments be enough to spook the competition? We'll find out.
We'll resort to threats.
And we also have Pat King, the Dark Prince or King, of the debate realm. Pat King brings his royal prowess to this spooky competition. With a crown forged in shadows, will he summon the strength to rule this haunted battlefield? Or die on it?
Or die.
Prepare yourself for a night of ghastly debates, terrifying trivia, and sinister showdowns as our contestants face off in 6 rounds of hair-raising, horror-themed questions. We'll start with 1-minute opening debates, followed by a 4-minute open debate around the witch's cauldron. Then those who survive move on to the speed round. Let the Halloween games begin! Round 1. Movies. Pitch a modern-day Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. 1 monster and 2 comedians.
Chelsea, go first.
Who's up first? Chelsea.
Oh, I get to go first. All right. I'm going to say Jay and Silent Bob meet the Necronomicon / Deadites. I think it'd be a great comedy. You have, Jay and Silent Bob, so, just 2 stoners hanging out. And, if they find the Necronomicon, damn well Jay is going to read from that. Even though Silent Bob will tell him not to, he's still going to read from it. And it's going to cause a ruckus, and I think they're going to handle it splendidly. They're going to be complete idiots, but as in all Jay and Silent Bob movies, it's going to have a happy ending, and they will survive. And quite frankly, I think even if Ash joined in, it would be fantastic to see Ash have to deal with Jay and Silent Bob fighting Deadites. I think it'd just be a great comedy, and it'd be a good time. Lots of weed, probably lots of boobies, foul language, blood, guts. It's great.
Well said. I would watch that movie.
I know, right?
All right. Moving on to Pat King. What is your movie?
All right. I went for a little off the beaten path. Channing Tatum and Vince Vaughn, and the Terrifier, Art the Clown. So this is very modern. Art the Clown is kind of having a renaissance, and I think Channing Tatum just came off of a great, hilarious performance as Gambit, and Vince Vaughn is always hilarious, and he plays a great straight man, which I think is the big thing for me, is that he'd have that wry humor. Channing Tatum can be a little bit unhinged, and then all three of them performing slapstick with the blood and guts and just absolute insanity, I think would be a tremendous box office hit. And like Terrifier 3 just came out. Having a cameo with these two guys just coming off of some really great projects, I think like Vince Vaughn has got to be like, they're crushing the box office. It would make so much money.
The money debate. Okay, moving on to Colin.
What was my answer? Put up the image. There was an image, right?
Yes, you had picked.
I said
Are you
Andrew
the head of security, or you now have the head of the security guy?
Okay. Oh, and 10 seconds in, I said Andrew Schultz and David Lucas versus Jigsaw. Picture this, like, kill Tony, but the hosts die. I think that would actually be something people would watch for once, like David Lucas gets up there, or, I'd say he'd probably be shackled to the wall. And, like, without his phone to nervously flip through, he's just going to nervously laugh, and then Jigsaw's going to present a bunch of puzzles, and then, maybe we'll see Andrew Schultz's head get split in half. I think that would be funny in itself. I don't think we need any contribution from the comedians themselves. The practical effect of the sawing off the foot would especially be good, because I think David Lucas needs to lose one to diabetes anyway, so we can do it totally practical.
Okay. Very good. Open debate.
Oh, I gotta center myself.
Slash. Jab. Decapitate your enemies.
As much as I love Jay and Silent Bob, I'm not really 100% sure that they can support their whole movie. I mean, Strike Back was pretty good. I got to admit, seeing them with the Deadites would be pretty great, but I don't think it's going to be, a box office success. Kevin Smith's movies have always been kind of niche.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see Kevin Smith talk for 3 hours in full prosthetic makeup, though.
See, there you go. He could just turn into a Deadite, and we could just have him rambling around.
I gotta say, I don't think it would work, though, because Jay and Silent Bob always foil their way out of any kind of trouble. If they found the Necronomicon, they'd roll it up and smoke it. There's no way Jay can read. We know that Silent Bob's not going to utter any words. I don't think the Necronomicon's going to play into it at all.
I would love to see them smoke a page out of the Necronomicon, though. Like, would Jay become possessed by a Deadite after that, or?
I almost wonder that. Would the smoke turn everybody around there into Deadites?
Right.
All their paying customers?
Is it How High rules, where you just smoke the remnants of someone and turn into a thing?
You guys have now started buffing Chelsea's case.
No, I'm against it. I'm saying there's nothing to watch there. There's nothing to watch there. Those guys they're gonna it's gonna be 2 hours of weed jokes, and what are we gonna see? Ben Affleck? Come on.
Deadite Ben Affleck.
So just Ben Affleck then. As being
Well, with Terrifier, I think a lot of it's going to be in the physical comedy, because I think everybody in this movie is great at physical comedy. So
except
Vince
really
Vaughn
is terribly. He has no physical. He can't barely walk.
I mean, he's massive though. So you always have to have the massive kind of smart guy and the shorter, it's the Jay and Silent Bob dynamic. It's the Abbott and Costello dynamic. So Vince Vaughn is 6 foot. Holy shit. And And Channing Tatum's going to be like the smaller, denser, kind of wilier guy. And I think they play well.
I think personally that like David Lucas dying for real on tape would be a box office magic.
Colin's just like, we need to murder these guys from this internet TV show.
Yeah, I can't even remember what I'm supposed to be arguing for, but I just think that real life death of those guys would rate well.
So we're into snuff films at this point.
We want to
I mean, we
basically
can
tell us
argue,
why your film's better than the other three.
And why the other two suck. Come on, everybody.
I think Vince Vaughn is low stakes, man. You can stab that guy 600 times without any kind of lethal amount of blood spilling out of him. So it's just like, what am I afraid of if they're fire chasing him in a circle?
And let's face it, Jay and Bob haven't been in a great movie since Strikes Back, which we're stretching it at that point.
Were they in another movie since Strike Back? Or was that the last one they did?
Oh no, Strike Back was the first Jay and Silent Bob movie. Then they did Reboot. And Reboot was...
Oh, they did do Reboot, didn't they?
Yeah, it was overly sentimental, and
maybe that's why I forgot about it. Maybe I just...
Yeah, it was forgettable.
Yeah.
Well, I think that seems to be the end of this debate.
Wait, where do we work Kevin Smith's wife into this movie?
Deadite. Everybody's a Deadite except
Everyone's
for James.
Deadite. It's a revolving door of guest stars.
Well, I don't know really who these two comedians are, but I'm going to have to give the point to Colin because no, everybody left your movie alone. Nobody went at you. And you were tearing yours up pretty good. So this is a debate.
I don't think it's going to get a wide theatrical release because it's just murder.
It's a worldwide audience.
It's
Search for Hostel and Saw.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going
to have exclusive release on usacrime.com.
All right. Round 2. Oh, we've lost 2 people. Well, it won't be the last tonight.
Last one.
Okay.
Let's go with the question.
TV. You can film a horror TV series in the scariest location on Earth. Where do you film it? First up, Colin. Oh, no, Pat.
Yeah. I'm excited about this. I fell down an ADHD research hole here. The island of Poveglia outside of Venice, Italy. So it was first written about in 476. So it is ancient. In the during the bubonic plague, it became a place where they just tossed plague victims. So there are estimates that there are 100 to 160,000 dead bodies in mass graves all over the island. Not only that, afterwards they built a hospital, an insane asylum, and a church. So this giant mass grave of an island has an abandoned church, an abandoned mental hospital, an abandoned hospital. And there are these insane stories, like a doctor doing crude lobotomies on people, but then throwing himself from the clock tower in the church after being utterly tormented by ghosts. So a lot of people refer to it as the most haunted place in the world. And it's currently for sale because that's how much nobody wants it. So it's available for shooting.
That's a big one. Location.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, I was a locations guy. Like, we know that it's there. It's ripe for the taking.
Plant your haunted flag on that island. All right, Colin. Where is the scariest place to film?
Alaska. Like at first I was trying to think of like maybe somewhere else on the planet, but then I just remembered that no, Alaska is the desolation of the Canadian wilderness, but then you're also in America, so fuck that. It's also completely desolate. Robert Hansen, other serial killers operated like totally unabated there, flying airplanes in, releasing women into the forest and hunting them with sniper rifles. Come on. Alaska's fucking terrifying, my guy. And also it's cold. So like we got hypothermia as a factor. When you're running around in the Alaska wilderness, man, like wildlife. And then also, it's a bit familiar too, but I think it like makes it a little scary. Oh, look, I got the countdown. So now I know how much time I have left. 15 seconds. Let me vamp for a second. Alaska, bears. Bears are pretty fucking scary. You're still in the U.S. I already said that, but I think that's worth reemphasizing.
Time up.
So you're saying there's guns?
There's guns.
Which makes the bears less of a problem.
I didn't say you had a gun.
Chelsea, where's the scariest place to film?
Okay.
Or a TV show?
So this place isn't actually haunted, but it does exist, and it's called Nagoro Doll Village, and it's in Japan. And pretty much it's got a population of like 35 people now. But this one chick that lives there pretty much just created all these dolls of the residents, of people who like lived there before, or just people she like made up. And she put them all in this village. And I just think, first of all, you can film there because there's only 35 people. So, I mean, you don't need to worry about, like closing up sets and everything like that. You already have all the props of the creepy dolls, and obviously creepy dolls are kind of my thing. I love creepy dolls, and to just have a whole town of that would be very like, kind of like, what was the House of Wax, like the remake where he had all the creepy wax figures that were like moving around, but it turned out they weren't actually people, they were just made of wax. But yeah, I think he could totally play on all that.
Time up.
I think if you moved there, Chelsea, they would welcome you in as their leader.
I would hope so.
I would think so. All right, opened up 8.
So I got to be honest, I actually almost picked that village in Japan. But it's become a tourist attraction. So how scary can it be if people thousands of people flock to it all the time? I mean, I think there's only a subset of people who think dolls are creepy. Some of them think they're adorable.
I think a lot of people think dolls are creepy. I think like creepy dolls is like becoming a thing. Or always has been, I guess.
I gotta go against both you at once and say that you both picked like fucked off like 824 fucking locations, man. Like nobody knows where those places are. Never heard of it. Don't care. Alaska,
But Alaska.
that's a place I've heard of.
I take that as a compliment because A24 makes some great shit.
Oh, I don't know. Are you gonna get Willem Dafoe, fly him out to this island or something? Come on.
Well, yeah, I mean, if the only reason,
You're gonna
I
drop
think-
your entire budget on the actor.
well, we got to buy the island first. But I don't even think people are allowed on this island anymore. It's incredibly creepy to the point where so few people have actually attempted to go there. There have been a few attempts to buy the island and build like hotels and everything on it, and creepy shit always happens. It always falls through. No one can get their hands on it. So it would just be this rarefied place. Full-blown Blair Witch, super creepy. You just take cameras and move around this island and go into the places. I feel like that's the movie.
That sounds prohibitively expensive. We're shooting it in Windsor.
Not only that, if it's super haunted, your cameras aren't going to work. You're going to have problems in that movie, and you're going to end up on one of those like cursed film series where it's like a bunch of these idiots went to this island to try and make a movie, and look what happened.
Well, there's
Like
the movie.
I would not go to that island if you were like, here's $1 million to play in that movie, and then you told me the background of it. No, thank you, sir. I'd be like, no, I will. You can do it via Skype or something.
That's the movie. Send a
haunted.
film crew there. They all die because it's so haunted, and then you make a documentary about that.
Oh, so we're gonna do an Island of the Dolls movie. Okay, like sailing on the success of Barbie. I get it. Just another Barbie movie. It's just a world full of dolls. Like, I get it.
Well, That might be it. Oh, no, you got some more points?
Well,
Wait a
I'm
minute.
Get in there.
thinking. Also, Japan is notoriously hard to shoot in. You know, and they keep their culture very, very close to the chest. They don't really allow
Radioactive.
outsiders in. It's really, really hard for Americans to get permits to shoot in Japan.
Jake
'cause
Paul
they're
fucked
very
that up for
insular.
everybody.
Yeah, which also be a great spot to shoot a movie. The Suicide Forest. Arguably the creepier of the two, I would say.
Okay, let me see. If that is it, then I am going to give this point to Pat. Other than the prohibitively expensive part, I don't think it was really torn down very well. And
Everyone loves an
I don't know.
abandoned mental hospital.
How much is the
What
island
about-
going for? Did they say?
Yeah, I think it's like 30 million euros, which for an entire island, not really that
That's
much.
not bad. No, that's not bad at all.
Right?
Mhm.
Well, considering it's basically built on top of human bones.
Yeah.
What do human bones go for these days?
Speaking of bones, let's go
You
a
can make a
little
profit.
deeper on these cuts. Come, feel a little more bite to tear down the others and get in their faces, if you will. We
Oh,
want some
you
solid
motherfuckers are in
abuse.
for it
Now,
now.
I do have
Yes.
to say that I was explicitly told before the show that I couldn't use ad hominem attacks, which is the most of what I had planned. I did a lot of research on you all. I was going to tear you down based on your appearances. Like, I've got your mother's names all written down. But if we have
this
to
is
go
the Halloween edition. We're fine with all of that.
concepts, then I will say that I'm at a disadvantage. But we can go ahead.
All tricks
All
and
right.
treats are welcomed here.
What's up next? Music?
That's generally it, yeah.
Music. You are throwing the ultimate Halloween party. Who's providing the music? Musician, band, or DJ?
My first.
Colin's up first.
Well, I went with the Cramps, and now I'm wondering if somebody picked the better answer that I just thought of, so I'm going to keep that to myself. But the Cramps, come on, it's built-in horror theme. All the songs are about zombie girls with their tits out. Cramps, what can you do? Like, come on, it's basically the Monster Mash turned into a rockabilly band. And you know, if the Cramps are playing live, that a lot of people are getting laid that night. So I think, yes, the Cramps are going to provide the perfect music for, I can't even remember what this is, a party? What is it, soundtrack
Halloween
for a
party.
movie? The Cramps.
Ultimate Halloween party.
The Cramps. Lots of beer, too many cigarettes. We got a married couple. I think they're married. Real sexy. All about vampires, zombies, and even the name just kind of evokes a terrifying feeling, man. The Cramps. But yeah, I'm waiting for somebody to say Oingo Boingo, and if you didn't, that's a better choice than the Cramps too. So
Time up.
Time's up. All right. Moving on. Chelsea. Who providing the music?
I said Gore, and I mean they have the big costumes already. Their music is all pretty much just kind of Halloweeny and spooky, and they're making the big old Halloween mess with all their fake blood and guts flying around. And I mean, just well, you can see from the picture there, that's a Halloween party, right? In that's a Halloween party I would attend, right in that picture.
Is that the Predator? Under the R? Looks like the Predator.
No, it's the lead
No,
singer.
no.
That's-
Anyway,
Anyway.
but yeah, I've seen them live like numerous times, and they put on a good show, and it's pretty much just I think that'd be fantastic for a Halloween party. And then afterwards, they can just walk around and fit right in their costumes, and it'd be a great time.
Wow. Okay, moving on to Pat.
Okay. I went less Halloweeny, more bitchin' party. I went with Kavinsky. So he basically walks around in costume as well. Like, that's iconic. The leather jacket, the sunglasses. You're gonna have this pumping music. At a party, I feel like you don't want the music to be the center of attention. You want it to be the background, or else it's just a concert. So I think a thumping, outrun synthwave soundtrack would be dope. I want my party to basically be the blood rave from the Blade movies. Absolute insane, sweaty, thumping blood orgy of a party. I don't really think I have to say more after blood orgy. I think we're good.
Blood orgy! All right. Open debate.
You did
Well,
have me up to 50. I'm not gonna lie.
Right?
Okay, skip the debate. We'll get right to the
Plus,
blood orgy.
I'd be pissed about
Blood
Guar
orgy,
covering me in
blood orgy.
snot and semen.
All right, I'm gonna say this right away. Guar, bad choice. Can't understand what they're saying. Not scary.
The cramp.
Everybody's drunk. It's a Halloween party. It doesn't matter. Nobody knows what anybody's saying.
And I think it's interesting you said,
who's ever been scared of a cramp? Like, my leg.
like, you've never been swimming and had a cramp. You've never been swimming with a cramp.
Because I stay out of the water. I've seen Jaws.
Well, I think it's interesting you said the Guar would fit in their costumes because fucking Guar can't fit in anywhere. Having those guys anywhere is a fucking fire hazard. So I don't know what kind of insurance that you're setting up, what kind of fire inspectors coming by to sign off on this whole event, but Guar is going to be a real headache to get the insurance signed up for. So I don't know with that one.
Why would they be a fire hazard?
Because they can't get through the door. One member of Guar tries to get through the fire exit, everybody's burning to death. They're stepping on silicone tails, spikes hitting people in the eyes. Dangerous. I think that blood they throw around is technically potentially flammable. So,
The blood? No, it's water. It's like water, some sort of water and dye. I don't think it's flammable. Their costumes might be, though. I'll give them that.
I mean, I feel like it's going to be a really huge expense to have someone reanimate Lux Interior. Lead singer of the Cramps is going to have to. You're going to have a necromancer on staff.
Listen, half of Guar's dead, so
yeah,
those guys
are
are
costumes. Just throw anyone in that fucking costume and call it a day.
That's true. Well, that just goes to show how unimportant the members of Guar are.
I mean,
Well, it wasn't how important they are. It was how cool they are when they look on stage for a Halloween party. I just think they'd be like perfect little decorations that like sing, kind of make mess. Like your Halloween pets just running around.
Have you ever listened to Synthwave? It's got this like kind of dark but kind of sexy undertone. Like, that's the Halloween party I want to be at. People fucking fighting, frightening, you know.
Kavinsky, is that what you said?
What's that?
Is that Kavinsky?
Yeah.
I think the scariest thing about a Kavinsky show is like the potential for overdose.
I'm just looking to set a mood.
There's no
Like
scary lyrics.
No?
There's no costumes. Not scary.
Nope. Well, people could be in costumes. But that's what I'm saying. That's my point.
Well, if the people are
I
in
want to
costumes,
focus on how good the
why
party
you
is.
have the artists, if the people are the attraction.
Well, because it's going to create the mood. You know, you don't want the music to be the number one thing. Like, you know, if they're the center of attention for the whole party, then you're just at a concert. It's not a party. You know, you want to create a nice soundtrack to the night that's not overly distracting or makes itself the center of attention. So that's
You're
why I
looking
picked
for a lounge
DJ
act,
personally.
sounds like.
I love the comments. Night Call is a certified hood classic. Kavinsky OP. I feel like the people are on my side.
Okay.
Everyone wants to come to my party.
That's a chat bot.
I've been tricked again. I'm so lonely.
Okay. This one got a little feistier. Well, look, I don't think it's the cramps. I think I don't think that one was it this time. Swimming with a cramp is dangerous. I agree. But I think I have to give this one to Pat because I don't think they tore down your synthwave argument very well.
I mean, tell me you wouldn't go to that party.
I don't know who this Kavinsky is, but I'll go.
He makes good music.
I know I'm not gonna get covered in red shit.
Yeah. Covered in fake semen.
Well, okay. Moving on to sports. What everyone thinks of on Halloween. Sports! You are a new franchise in a horror-themed hockey league. What is your team name to strike fear into the champion Boomsticks? First up, Chelsea.
I said the chupacabras. No, it's fun to say chupacabra. It's a creature that I think everybody kind of knows about, and it's just kind of creepy. They know about it. We don't actually know about it as a creature itself, so it kind of has a mystery to it, and it's just kind of spooky. I think it would just be cool to see the chupacabras on ice. Oh, and I like the little logo you did there. That's cute.
Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah.
Chupacabras.
Chupacabras.
Are you good? You're 30 seconds still left. Do you have anything else?
How will they strike fear into the Boomsticks?
Are they allowed to do something like weird on ice? I wasn't.
Sure, why not? It's a horror-themed hockey league.
Okay, well, they're actual chupacabras then. They are actual chupacabras that they have trapped, and they put them all on ice, and they put them on little skates, or they could use their claws to skate around the ice and have their big old little teeth and chase people.
Yeah, see, that was next level. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Next up, Pat.
All right. So I went with the Cenobites. Everyone hopefully knows them from Hellraiser. They already have kind of a team structure. Pinhead, definitely the team captain. You've got Butterball, be a great goalie because he's massive. You got the Chatterer, who's going to be the enforcer because he is terrifying. And even when they move on screen, they kind of glide. So who's to say they're not already on skates? They just kind of float. So I think they are going to nail the whole hockey thing. Also, they're terrifying. They're like Deadites on steroids. So I think the Boomsticks would have a run for their money. Yeah, the Cenobites are psychotic and already kind of their own team.
Kill the whole hockey thing.
That was a good open debate. Okay. Colin. You guys get your work cut out for you on this.
Chris, are you dying in the background?
He does that. He does have a mute button. He's just forgotten.
No, I'm leaving it on. It's good. Okay, good. Continue.
Okay. The question was about the name of the team. It wasn't really about everything. So I chose the Ohio "We Killed Your Family" Boomsticks, and this is a very personal attack against the Boomsticks. It is meant to directly antagonize them personally by name. They've got to wonder, did they get the jerseys made just for this game? They got to wonder, did they name the team just for this game? They might not have their cell phones on them. They can't get a hold of their families. They're going to wonder the whole game. Is there any validity to this title of the Ohio "We Killed Your Family" Boomsticks? And I think that there is pretty well as intimidating as a sports name as you can get. Whether or not the theatrics on ice are intimidating. That doesn't seem to be part of the question. So I'm going to focus on just making the name as terrifying as possible. So I went personal.
This should be a fun one. Open debate.
Full-blown threats. Okay. All right.
Do you know how much time and money it would cost, though, for the We Killed Your Family Boomsticks for them to like go and track down every family member or find information on the opposite team before every game? Like
It's about the threat.
be a lot
It's
of
about the
effort.
threat. Whether or not we actually do it,
Not
that's
actually doing it. They're threatening to.
And I've got to come right off the top and say the Cenobites is, if I'm managing a rink, I'm not letting people with like that many pins on their head near my ice. We've got to resurface it every half game anyway. Like it jumps exponentially if half the team has like 14 blades on their head. So that's just like not on my ice.
Now, would they even handle the cold very well? Because if they're from hell,
Well, technically they're not from hell. Technically they're from another dimension outside of our human reality.
Yeah.
I would say that the cold against those pins would give them a brain freeze, which would be very distracting in the game of hockey. But they're sadists, and that would probably just get them off.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, they'd really love that. Yeah. And like, good luck slashing one of them. They slash themselves constantly. Thank you.
Yeah. The mess, though, like the mess after every game, it would just be like blood and guts everywhere. You'd have to clean that shit up.
People already go to see hockey for the blood and guts, for the checks and the it's one of the more violent.
That's true, but there's
We've
limits.
been reeling it in though. They're trying to make it more of a family sport, and I don't think the presence of blood on the ice is welcome. We've seen lately what happens.
Mm-hmm.
This is a horror themed hockey league, though.
Right? Horror themed. I mean, and the chupacabras, when I think of the chupacabras, it just conjures in my mind the episode of Mike Tyson Mysteries where he just mispronounces the chupacabra's name the entire episode. The chupacama, the chamacaba, and it just destroys me. So in my mind, I'm like, oh yeah, that's just kind of the people can't say it.
Well, we want to invite Mike Tyson then. He's not invited.
Are chupacabras not cute? That doesn't seem scary.
Yeah, the one in the picture, the mascot looked adorable.
But if you got a bunch of them and just release
that
them,
motherfucker.
like no reason, these things can't play hockey. They don't know what the fuck they're doing there. You just release them on the ice and let them have a good time.
I'm not scared. I feel like I'm gonna beat a chupacabra at a game of hockey.
But can you beat like 30 of them? That's the question.
30? What kind of rules are we playing with? 30 on the ice?
Well, they're not going to stay in the little penalty box. So I mean,
or are we talking like 4 or 5 chupacabras making one person in a suit?
A chupacabra suit? No, I'm talking like actual chupacabras.
Yeah, well, I thought maybe 3 or 4 chupacabras on each other's
2 of them are the
shoulders,
legs.
human.
However many you can collect, just throw them all out there. It can be like the intermission show.
Again, not on my ice. If I'm managing this hockey game, I'm like, that's a forfeit.
Well, then I'll go find a manager who will let them on their ice.
Right? It's a lot of rules for a horror-themed hockey league. You're being kind of heavy-handed considering one of your teams just threatened to murder the families of the other team. Also, like, it's just empty threats. Those guys are just guys.
Freedom of speech. It could be interpreted a number of ways.
Just call them the Ohio Trump supporters.
That's already taken.
Didn't they already make the movie Red State?
Yeah,
it's a great movie.
That was actually that one MVP where the dog was on the ice.
Well, point, Pat, you're running away with it. I think that like that Cenobites, that the fact that they already glide,
right?
Like, you know what? That's true.
Like, ah.
And whenever you do to them, they're just gonna love it. Like that's a kind of a great pick.
Yeah, you can try to destroy them, and they're surprisingly rules oriented. They're kind of amoral. They don't really give a shit. They're not evil, but they take instruction well, and they like I find them kind of agreeable.
Also, they're an American hockey team.
They're just
You
happy
like
to
get
be pain and take pain.
get a few goals against them early, and they're just like, yeah, we fucking love this shit. It's like, what? Like, yeah, you're supposed to be demoralized. They're like, no.
Oh yeah, you check one of them through the glass, and he just like comes.
Not on my ice.
Not on my ice.
Not on the ice.
No,
You know what happens if you run to Zamboni over
The
that?
sacred
yeah,
ice.
Zamboni's gonna get his money worth that game.
The amount of work I put into those images for the sports category. Oh my god.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Yeah, you're gonna have to send me the.
Good job, Murphy.
I will do that before I delete them ultimately, because I always end up doing that. All right, let's continue.
Okay. Round 5. History. Which historical figure would make a better vampire hunter than Abraham Lincoln? First up, Pat.
For starters, any of them. What a shitty choice for a vampire hunter, especially when you had Teddy Roosevelt right there. The dude like lost an eye to boxing. He fucking fought bears and shit. Like, come on. But I went personally, and you know, my costume kind of based off of Gonzo and living life fully insane is Vampire Hunter S. Thompson. The man can wield a fucking magnum filled with silver bullets. He takes zero shit. And I'm pretty sure he's already called politicians vampires on a number of occasions. So, you know, he's
politician vampires. Love it.
Yeah. He's just straight up murdering corrupt politicians on an acid trip thinking that they're actually vampires. So I think he'd fucking crush it. Yeah, Vampire Hunter S. Thompson.
I do really want to see that.
It's unfortunate how good that name is.
Yeah, that's gonna be hard for you guys. All right, Colin.
Oh, I of course Abraham Lincoln. I picked Joseph Mengele. Famous Nazi scientist and fucking probably one of the worst people to ever exist. And I think for a number of reasons, he would be a good vampire hunter and ultimately better than Abraham Lincoln. He already has a lot against pretty much everybody from Romania, the Romani people. Dracula, and most of his bloodline is just gonna like not do well in the eyes of Mengele, and that's just aside from the vampire stuff. So I think just like the swaths of people that he kills indiscriminately, or I guess very discriminately, just means that by just a numbers game, he's gonna get a few vampires. So I didn't say he was good, but effective.
Okay. Chelsea.
All right. I said Muhammad Ali. Just because first of all, it'd be cool to just see somebody going around just punching vampires like right in the fucking face and knocking them out. And I mean, if you got a good punch on you, you just throw a stake in your hand there and you just kind of be like punching, but you're holding a stake. You could dig that right through, you know, the rib cage and all that to get to the heart. So I think he'd be strong enough. He was an activist too, so I think he could convince more people to join in and beat up all the vampires that need to be beaten up. I think he'd be fair about it. If there's some good vampires out there, he would, you know, let them live, and he would just go after the bad ones and the ones causing a ruckus. I think he would be a strong and fair vampire hunter. Assuming there's some vampires that want to behave and just want to live their life and, you know, just live forever watching people. I think he would let them go and get the mean ones. And yeah, like I said, just seeing a bunch of people punching vampires, that'd be fantastic.
Okay. This is my favorite one so far. Open debate.
Muhammad Ali, I think, is potentially a bad choice just because We know that he is not motivated to have any violence against people that aren't directly holding down the civil rights movement. He said so. He refused to go to Vietnam. And I think he would just be like, these vampires, like, they're not hurting me, my people. And I've got no qualm with them. That sounds like Muhammad Ali would not want to fight vampires.
But the vampires are hurting people. Like, well, I'm assuming these vampires are like going around, blood sucking and eating people. Like, what if they go to his little town and start eating his family and friends?
It becomes personal, I suppose.
Well,
Yeah.
and you did say that there were good ones. Like, we're talking Children of the Night. We're talking in league with Satan, soulless vampires. But like, how
But
many
you
of
didn't
them are just?
specify. There could be some nice vampires. I like to think if I turned into a vampire, I wouldn't be a huge dick about it. I would just, eat the people that I needed to eat.
When Pat played
And-
Skyrim, he fought for the North.
I don't know what that means.
I'm not even entirely sure, but I don't like it.
Vampires.
I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
I played Skyrim. I actually played a vampire. It was
Yeah, okay, well.
fun and very difficult.
Where's your empathy?
Wait, I feel like Hunter S. Thompson also has an immaculate bullshit detector. Like, the man could see through, he could see through disingenuous people. He could see through, political flim-flam. I think he would really understand the character of a vampire within minutes of talking to them, even if they're suave and kind of duplicitous. He'd just be like, no. I see you for what you are, you blood-sucking cretin, and then blow him away with a magnum.
Hunter S. Thompson had a chance to kill a vampire when he walked into the bathroom on Richard Nixon taking a piss, and then he left him alone.
See, 'cause he's a
Touche, sir. Touche.
And if I'm gonna fight for Mengele here for a second and just say that his years hiding in South America would also make him potentially good at stalking, following vampires, like jungle terrain, like any kind of thing like that. So
Why is Mengele a bad choice, Chelsea and Cat Pat?
Because it's Joseph Mengele.
I didn't say I'm riding for him. I just said I think he'd be a good vampire hunter.
I mean, they called the guy the Angel of Death. I feel like that's almost
You know
worse
how
than a
interested
vampire.
you would be in capturing an immortal being and then just like cutting it up and seeing how it works? Like,
He should stake himself. If anything, I want Hunter S. Thompson to kill Joseph Mengele.
I'd watch that. Hunter S. Thompson took the method of murder of letting him drown during a heart attack at the age of 80.
Wait, you know how Joseph? Okay, all right. That's in. Okay.
He was at a vacation home.
Unhinged choice.
I haven't heard boo against his effectiveness.
I mean, I guess he's got the tools, but I don't think he has the physicality.
But he has the backup.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, I don't think it's Hunter S. Thompson because I'm still not sure if it's actual vampires or if he's just on an acid trip. I'm not
That's
sure.
part of the fun.
Fair enough.
Shoot them all and let God sort it out.
But I feel like he's actually just murdering people.
But shit or leeches on society, so in a way, vampire.
Oh, geez. You almost had it with Mengele until like the physicality comment by Pat at the end. I'm not so sure he does have the physicality.
I can't
So-
honestly. That guy, all he did was drink milk. I know he'd be weak.
You just-
Yeah, he was
Crushed
mostly
under the
dissecting
weight.
kids into already
Right.
dead bodies. And they were
And
all
I think Chelsea was
emaciated.
right that like once vampires start murdering people, Muhammad Ali's probably in the game. So I kind of want to see that. Like you cheer for him, and you know, maybe there's good vampires, but either way, I just want to see him punching like vampires in the face.
The greatest of all time.
I mean, he beat the shit out
And
of
he-
Superman at one
And
point.
he's floating
So
like a butterfly, and he's stinging like a bee. And, you know, he could have a steak that looks like a bee sting, and he could be
Are
like,
you convincing
I'm stinging like a
yourself
bee.
right now? Are
Hey,
you convincing
point
yourself
Chelsea.
right now?
We chose
I
it,
already
right?
did. I already chose Chelsea.
All right, well then I can
But,
concede that Muhammad Ali is the best.
yeah, honestly, that was a solid one.
That's a good choice. Because he's like, yeah, it's the physicality aspect of it too, right?
Because
To be fair, we didn't hear a lot against it, so
I just read the comic where he fought Superman, and I was yeah, man.
First
fucking
thing,
Muhammad
of course,
Ali
there's a comic for that.
just kicks ass.
Under a red sun. It was
Yeah,
the very
yeah.
fight.
Because everyone was like, "Oh, Superman can't fight. Get Muhammad Ali to do it. He's just a normal dude now."
Ali FTW. All right, time to the next round.
All right. Wild card.
Give me a second. Sorry,
So-
I'm lost.
Wild card. What is the most enjoyable horror trope? This one's fun. Let's start with Colin.
Okay, I think I had one, but then I had to change it because somebody else picked it. So I'm gonna go with the most enjoyable horror trope is tits out. It's great in pretty well every movie that it appears. Like no cameo has as good a track record as tits in a movie in terms of appreciation and overall enjoyment from fan base. It instantly improves any movie. There's no context in which it demeans or cheapens a movie. I'm sure. I can't think of one. I'm like, we all saw Titanic, and like, there's tits out in that movie. So even prestige film knows that the best trope is tits out. And like, we talk about horror movies, we got tits out in all of the classics. The end of Sleepaway Camp, famous tits out. Just a fantastic trope.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about that as a trope, but definitely is. Okay. Chelsea.
I hate to see anybody argue against those.
Mine was the weirdo who just warns you about something, you know, get out or don't go in there. And it's always, that's exactly the one I was thinking of when I made my answer. Definitely a favorite of mine. But yeah, it's always just some either old drunk guy or stoned person or just some weirdo from the psych ward who's just telling you not to do something and you go and do it anyway. And I don't know why they're so great. They're always funny. They're like a little comedy relief before the movie starts. And they always seem to survive. I mean, not all the time, but I like when they survive because they just warn you and they never give any context to it. They're just like, don't go in those woods. You'll regret it. And then they just like ride away on their bike or something. And you're left like, what the fuck? So, I mean, if they would have stopped and explained it, maybe you wouldn't have gone into those woods. But they don't. They just give you a little warning, like don't read from that or don't go in there. And then they just disappear off into the night.
It's
I like
the
to think
gas
I'm that
station
person for
attendant with
everybody
the
else in my
stutter.
life. Don't go in there.
No. I went with what I think is just an absolute classic. The cat scare. So, you know, every time you're walking through, everything's quiet. There's this like pregnant tension, and then, meow. Oh, it's just a cat. Because it's just such an old trope, and it's been done so many times that there are so many takes and throwbacks of it. You know, it could be a cat. Oh my god, it's just a cat, and they turn around and the murderer is behind them as they're looking at the cat, and it's been in so many movies, and I don't think people would keep doing it if it wasn't such a classic trope. They've even made entire movies about it, a la Sleepwalkers. where it's just cat scares most of the time. Pet Cemetery. Everyone loves Pet Cemetery cat scare.
On that note,
Open
Supernatural is my favorite cat scare.
Last chance for glory. Open debate
Fight.
has begun.
Okay, somebody say something bad about tits. I'm ready to hear it. Okay, the cat thing is good. It's good. The cat thing's good. But
I love a cat scare.
it breaks the tension. It breaks the tension. It breaks the tension. And then I'm usually like, oh, that's we're about to cut to the next day and they're having breakfast.
But sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you use a cat scare. You're like, oh, it's just a cat scare. And then they use that to double down and go, no, we were just fucking with you. Cats the musical.
That whole movie, cat scare, I guess.
Yeah.
And you know how much everybody hated that movie.
I wish they would have left the buttholes in.
That's a typical comment from somebody that likes the cat scare.
Listen, maybe it's just the cat buttholes that I'm all about. It could be. But you don't always see the butthole in a cat scare. Sometimes they come from the side.
I think the alligator scare is more effective.
The alligator scare? Or like a bat scare?
Just the alligator scare, you know, when in typical scene when somebody's, you know, creeping around and then an alligator goes, wah! And they're like, oh, it's just an alligator. So they run across its head like Roger Moore in that one movie.
Well, I mean, it begs the question: how many young actresses have been in early horror films and been taken advantage of and been mistreated on set just to get their tits out?
Okay. I didn't know we were going for
it.
a moral. I didn't know we were taking a moral standpoint on the ethical inner workings of filming the tits out.
I mean, is it a trope to just have tits in a movie?
Horror.
I feel it is in horror. Yeah.
Horror directors would never do that. Come on.
Yeah. They're all every single one of them. They're all saints. Every last one of them.
Okay. Well,
I think the Harbinger of Doom, while always interesting, can be sometimes kind of forgettable. I mean, how many Harbingers of Doom do you remember? That like, get out.
How many times do you take somebody seriously when they tell you don't go in that room? Anyway,
you're right. Like they're very ineffective.
In my life, if there are so many Harbingers of Doom, like in my day to day, every day, and I fucking ignore them all.
Yeah, you're like,
that's why they're
up,
so great
man.
because they are in it. Like, there's no point to them. They're pretty much just telling you what the audience already knows.
Yeah,
And
I guess they're right every time, or else there wouldn't be a movie.
Yeah, but it's always just a fun character. It's like, who are they going to throw in there to warn the people this time?
They ruin it because then I know something's bad's going to happen when they do the thing that the Harbinger guys had not to do.
You're right. I want to see a movie where the Harbinger of Doom's like,
I think something. I already know how this movie's going to end because they go in that house that the guy said not to.
Yeah, don't go in there. You're going to get murdered. And then they go up there and it's just a house. And they're like, oh, that guy was just fucking insane. Who cares?
And then they get murdered. Spoiler alert. Thanks for ruining the movie, guy.
Every time.
Came in the first act, told me how this thing ends. Come on.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't tell you how it ends because he doesn't specify why you shouldn't go in there. He's just like, don't go in. It could be anything. It could be a cat.
They get specific.
Yeah.
You know,
sometimes they say things like the dark gone sour. Sometimes they can tell you specifically what happened, like the dirt gone sour, and you know, don't go up there. Sometimes dead is better. Like that's.
But then give you a shovel and walk you up there, and help you.
But if we're talking the most enjoyable, I feel like no one hates a cat scare. Like everyone loves tits. Well, half the population loves tits.
I don't know if
maybe more than half. Probably more than half.
I would say that's
70%. But everybody loves a cat scare.
Not dog people. I want a dog scare.
I didn't really hear anybody argue against tits very well. Tits out with
just the one real world example of bad things.
I gave it a shot.
Just the one example of how it's actually bad in reality and how it's a bad choice.
But in movies, it's like, God damn it, man! Everyone loves to see tits. Everyone.
I don't want to think about the ramifications.
Talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right
Right.
back.
You don't want to think about having an intimacy coordinator.
I don't want to think about how the media I ingest perpetuates any kind of ethical problems.
And with that, we unfortunately are eliminating our champion, Chelsea Harris. Chelsea, you're welcome to obviously stay here as we go through the speed round.
I love
six final questions between our two surviving competitors, Colin and Pat King. Our host is coming back just in time to read those things for what
A
we
cat
call...
scare.
Yeah.
Did it work?
It's just cute, not scary.
Oh yeah, no, it's got
Aw.
to jump into frame,
It's just heartwarming.
and yeah, it's got to jump into frame and meow really loudly.
Oh, God.
Good one.
Son, repeat.
No.
Nope, still cute.
Sorry, Lulu. Even the name is cute. All right.
Lulu the
Speed round.
Destroyer.
Yeah, Chelsea, I might need your help to decide these. We'll see. As a former champion, you are an expert in these matters. So. Okay. Speed round question number 1. Movies. Some of them will have 1 or 2 options. Some of them you'll have to just shout out your choice quickly. Movies. You are being tormented by a paranormal entity. Who are you going to call? Ghostbusters or the Warrens from The Conjuring?
Ghostbusters, 100%.
All right,
Ghostbusters are real. The
Why is it
Warrens are fucking
Ghostbusters?
frauds.
Wait, sorry. Give me 1 second. I'm...
Am I too
I love
casual?
that this debate is starting off with the Ghostbusters are real.
They're more real than the Warrens.
Yeah, but every ghost the Ghostbusters have caught is just like, I make gross stuff on stuff.
Hold on. Colin gets 30 seconds first.
Okay.
Go ahead, Colin.
Wait, so I argue about both of them, or do I
No, your pick first.
Okay.
Your opening debate, 30 seconds, and then there's 15-second rebuttals for each. So you give 30 seconds to give your argument, and then we give 15-second rebuttals.
Okay.
Okay, your time begins now.
I'd say the Ghostbusters. The Ghostbusters are real. They have actually caught ghosts. In reality, we've seen it. We've seen footage of this happening. The Warrens, famous frauds, total fucking fakes. Just getting money from people that are experiencing severe depression over loss of loved ones and are holding on to any kind of scrap of hope that they might talk to them again, and just bad people. Ghostbusters, I'm calling them every time. 100%. Even the new ones.
30 seconds to Patrick.
I mean, all the ghosts the Ghostbusters have caught are essentially as dangerous as a librarian or a teenager with an internet connection. They just leave goo everywhere or throw books around. Nothing that they've caught is like world-ending, I don't think. Like, they've never been a legitimate threat. The Warrens, I never fucking seen The Conjuring.
Oh. 15 seconds to Colin.
15-second rebuttal.
What about that one Ghostbuster that sexually assaulted, or the ghost that sexually assaulted the other Ghostbuster? Forcibly gave him head. He couldn't even see what she was doing. That's pretty dangerous. That's not just some slime shit. That's like fucking bad.
15-second rebuttal, Patrick.
All right, well, I mean, the Ghostbusters got to be way more expensive. I feel like the Warrens, they just do it for the love of the game. They're just a family who had to do it because they were forced to do it. Survival.
Point Colin. Call the
Point
Ghostbusters.
Colin.
All right. TV.
Conjuring.
I actually like those movies. They're good movies.
I'll have to check them out after this.
Yeah. Like the way the characters that the Warrens portrayed themselves as, pretty good ghost hunters. That's not what they were. But... All right. TV. Which Universal monster would make the best lead character for a multi-season TV show?
I'm trying to remember the Universal monsters.
Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, the creature from the Black Lagoon, the Invisible Man,
Dracula's already got this. Frankenstein's
Wolfman.
First one to give their answer gets the first pick.
I'm gonna go with the Invisible Man.
Invisible Man for Patrick. You get time to think about it. Call it.
Yeah,
30 seconds,
Patrick.
Patrick. Oh, you're going for Patrick. All right.
Okay.
Patrick first. 30
I
seconds.
feel like the Invisible Man is like, yeah, you don't get to see a lot of him. Great, gonna save a lot of money on effects and shit. But not only that is the moral challenge of staying a good person when you're invisible all the time. I feel like it'd be a really interesting character study because this guy kind of has carte blanche to do like immoral shit all the time, so he's constantly being challenged, and he'd be kind of an anti-hero. And I just think that'd be an interesting show to watch for, multi-season.
Colin, 30 seconds.
I say Frankenstein's monster because, what kind of deeper character could you have than the misunderstood monster? We've seen sexy vampires. We're fucking tired of it. The Invisible Man. Yeah, I want to watch nothing on a TV screen. That's what I want to see. Is just an empty frame of the Invisible Man. I'd rather see Frankenstein grapple with the world treating him wrong, his incapability to communicate, and then branching together and learning to love.
15-second rebuttal, Patrick.
See, but I don't think you could make a multi-season show about that. Like, yeah, his growth and how he deals with how people see him. Once he grew and learned, then the story's over. I'd rather see a guy grapple with him slipping into.
15-second rebuttal to Colin.
Frasier went 10 seasons, so I think we can get a couple out of Frankenstein. He's just another tall guy with a big forehead, and we're starting a little further back, but the stretch to become a human is about the same as Frasier Crane from the season 1. And we'll have a Daphne marriage thing and everything.
Point, Colin.
Oh my goodness.
They're going to come back here in the speed round. Shouldn't Colin have 4 points?
Did he get the point last round? I thought it was Patrick.
No, it's 2.
All right, my bad. Sorry, I'm slipping.
Okay. Music. Who would best thrive with an Alice Cooper-style horror gimmick? Taylor Swift or Billie Eilish?
Oh, Billie Eilish for sure.
All right, 30 seconds,
right.
Patrick.
I mean, she's already proven that she can go dark, creepy, kind of goth aesthetic. She's also, the dresses she's worn, she can also do, traditional, Victorian gothic stuff. She's definitely had a darker image. I can't think of one time that Taylor Swift has been anywhere close to edgy. She's a fucking walking feather pillow, really.
30 seconds, Colin.
Okay, so we're gonna go with a sapphic kind of Alice Cooper with a basketball jersey on and massive shorts. Now, I think that Taylor Swift already rocks the sequins. Too much makeup, over theatrics. Have you seen her stage shows? She's basically halfway to cutting her own head off on stage anyway. So I think Taylor Swift, Alice Cooper kind of theatrics is going to be logically the next step for her. Actually, I don't even think that this is a far off scenario. I think we will see this in the next year.
15-second rebuttal, Patrick.
I think the closest Taylor Swift has ever been to Alice Cooper is just playing the same arenas that he's played. I've never even seen her with dark, really decent makeup on. I don't know. She's sequins. You think sequins and Alice Cooper go together?
Rebuttal, Colin.
Sequins and Alice Cooper go together quite well. I mean, I think I'd look at some more of Alice Cooper's stage costumes, okay? And you know, he was a man about the stage show, and like Billie Eilish is gonna come out, and sure, all the girls are gonna go crazy, but like, is that like what Alice Cooper did? That's debatable.
Point. What do you think about this one, Chelsea? Honestly, I don't think I've ever heard a song from either of these people. In fact, I know so little about pop music. Murphy had to choose the second person to choose.
Billie Eilish is too hip
Billie
right
Eilish.
now.
I'd have to say Billie Eilish. I mean,
Okay, I was leaning that way.
yeah.
Okay, point Pat.
Making it a game now.
The sequence thing was pretty funny. Okay.
Alrighty, time for the
Sports.
next round.
We got a close one here. Sports. Whose head would make the best horror football?
Is that anybody?
Yeah.
Anybody, yeah.
Anybody?
Arnold. Hey, Arnold.
That's a great choice. Okay, go.
30 seconds to call it.
Arnold.
Do I
from
get to
Hey
pick
Arnold.
one?
You get to think
Yeah,
of it by
you
your
got 30 seconds
choice.
to think about it.
Precedent's been set. Hey, football head. Cut that kid's head off. Give it a kick. Wow. Apparently it takes place in Washington State. I think that also is a more of a football state than New York, which I always thought Hey Arnold took place in. Helga Pataki, man, she could kick that shit fucking across the moon. I don't see how I may have taken a bad choice because it's not horror related, but I think decapitating a 10-year-old boy and kicking his head around is probably scary.
Patrick, you get 30 seconds. When you're ready.
I'm gonna go with Joseph Mengele.
Why
we
are
saw
these gonna be
a
called
picture
little
of him. We
Mengele
saw his
debates?
fucking weird, beady little eyes.
Oblong head.
Yeah, everyone loves to just fucking kick around it. Like, no one's gonna be pissed that you decapitated a Nazi instead of kicking his head around.
That's true.
If anything, I think they'd be delighted. I know a lot of Nickelodeon fans would be pretty pissed, even though his head, yes, is football shaped. I think he's a delightful human being, and that would be terrible. No one would rejoice there.
15-second rebuttal, Colin.
Nickelodeon let Dan Schneider go crazy for like a decade. They don't give a fuck about that kind of stuff. You pay them enough, and they're gonna let you saw Arnold's head off. He's an orphan; like his parents aren't coming. So what are you? You know.
15-second rebuttal, Patrick.
I'd like to just point out that this is the second time in the debate that Colin has defended a Nazi.
I'm
Point Pat. Hey.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Moving on. Verbal uppercuts work really well on this.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Okay.
Oh, Christ.
Oh,
Setup. He set you up, Colin.
history.
History. Which 20th century toy would make the best possessed toy like Chucky and Annabelle kind of thing?
Bratz doll.
30
Furby.
seconds, Colin.
Chucky could fucking stab you, kill you, chase you around the house, scream at you, do voodoo spells on you, but a Bratz doll is gonna fucking make you cry. Okay? It's gonna fucking tell you that you're tacky, you're gross, that all the girls have been talking about you and they think you're ugly. And the Bratz doll is gonna just be the worst fucking thing to possibly be sentient, running around just saying whatever the fuck comes off the top of their domes. You just know it.
30 seconds to Patrick.
We'll just send the dude from Nickelodeon after them. But have you legitimately ever fucked with a Furby? Those things have the deadest eyes, and they ask these horrifying questions in this calm sing-song voice. I think a Furby would sit on a shelf and taunt you like the Raven from fucking Edgar Allan Poe. Like, this thing would drive people utterly insane. Because they already kind of do, if you've ever interacted with one. I find them unsettling.
15-second rebuttal. Call it.
Furbies aren't scary. Furbies are cute. They're delightful. Everybody loves Furbies. I love Furbies. I have 4 at home. They're completely comforting. There's nothing scary about a Furby. If a Furby came to life, it would be the best fucking day of my life.
15-second rebuttal, Pat.
But we're talking about if it was possessed, like Annabelle or Chucky. Chucky was originally just a cute doll. Then he was possessed by the soul of a serial killer. So a Furby possessed by the soul of a serial killer or some kind of psychologically torturous, insane person would be a totally different story. It would lull you into a false sense of security.
Well, as the horror doll expert, Chelsea, I feel like you should judge this debate.
I actually own a Furby, and I'm going to have to go with Furby. They are just they're unsettling.
It's the voice and the eyes. Like,
and they go off at random times. They just they're unpredictable. They're cute but unpredictable.
Yeah, like you could be in a dark room just walking in a hallway and it's like, hello, and you're like, what the absolute fuck?
I didn't teach you that word.
And with that, we have our winner.
We do.
I'd like to thank the Academy.
Good job, Pat.
2 for 2,
You
baby.
get to live.
Go.
The other 2, you will be haunted for all time.
Yeah, that was already my plan.
Get back in the costume here. That was a heated debate here on Trivial Debates. Spooky and filled with horror. Thank you all for joining us for this lovely episode. Our winner, Patrick King.
Survivor, if you will.
Tell the audience where they can find you and your horrible machinations.
Oh, yes, all of my horrible machinations. My newest is a half-baked podcast called, well, actually, thematically enough, it's called How Not to Rot. But as opposed to not decomposing as a dead body, it's going to be about how to avoid the pitfalls of mental health issues and how to keep motivated and hopeful and whatnot. So that's going to be interesting. You can follow that on How Not to Rot on Instagram. I'm on Twitch as the Eldritch Abbott. But yeah, other than that, that's really all I've got in the works right now. And yeah, thanks everyone for coming out.
Based on the title, I thought it was a podcast for formaldehyde sniffers, but I'm glad it's not.
Perhaps a future podcast for the United Federation of Podcasts to simulate.
Yeah.
Do that sometime.
Wait, the
We can use the
Federation
platform.
is simulating.
Well, that's what we do. That's what we do here at the UFP. We simulate podcasts. Colin, tell the fans where they can find you as their second place contestant.
Do not find me. If you find me, I will call the cops.
Fair enough.
Well said.
Fair enough.
But they won't show up, but he'll call them.
Yeah.
He'll call them either way.
They'll
With
come
that,
after and then they'll cause more problems.
Chelsea, thank you for your time. Where can we find your wonderful creations?
You can find me under Tales from the Stitch, and that's on Twitter and Instagram.
Oh my god, your stuff's amazing, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yes, you can go take a peek, and I have a website, talesfromthestitch.com, and you can check out all my creepy little yarn dolls.
Yeah, go look at those. They're really cool.
Mm.
Oh, wow.
Very cool.
Damn. Okay. Yeah. No. Looking it up right now. That's sick as hell.
Yeah, I don't even know how you
so
do that. Very cool.
Well, with that, we want to thank you all for spending a little time with us. This is the first of 2 Trick or Treat episodes we have going on Halloween. We'll do this annually for Trivial Debates. 2 Halloween episodes in our month. Normally we're a 1-month podcast, but you know, it's Halloween. We gotta
Best time
treat
of
it
year.
up. It's that time
Spooky
of the year,
season is
baby.
best season.
And we want to thank you for joining us for this first of 2 episodes. As always, you can find more podcasts here at the United Federation Podcast. We got all kinds. You're gonna find a
You
little.
can vote for this one.
Yeah, you should
in the
vote for this
coast.
one if East
Best
You
of
guys are
Halloween.
Haligonians.
podcast.
for-
This was this is an East Coast podcast episode of Halloween Trivial Debates. Thank you everyone for taking the time to hang out with us and have a spooky good time. You can find us again. We'll be back October 27th for the Treats episode. Our host Davin is going to be a contestant against our host Mortis Media, and we've got Morgan Drace and our own Stephen Waters. It's going to be a fun little time. Mortis's first time
Is
hosting
that third
Trivial
picture
Debates.
supposed to be Stephen Waters?
That's Stephen Waters' picture. Yeah, he drew that himself. He prefers that
Okay.
one. Yeah. So that's what we do. We're spooky. We're fun. We'll be back on the 27th. Please join us. Hit subscribe. Leave comments. Let us know what your answers and choices to these questions would have been, and if you agree with any of our contestants and with our host choices.
Tell
I'd
us
love
if
to
you're
hear your feedback.
anti-tits.
Yeah, let us know if you're
Yeah,
anti.
we didn't get a lot of that
Let's
in
hear
the
from the
debate, so
anti-tits
tell
crowd.
us.
Yeah, that's true. With that, we're out. See you on the 27th.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. Tune in to X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. Artistic interviews with graphic histories. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And movie reviews with Hold Up, a movie podcast. And while you're at it, spin a few records with Eamon on Track. Watch us duke it out on Trivial Debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.